What's good, everybody? We are back again with another brand new episode and a happy new year to all of you guys out there. First show of the year.
MV3.
What? He's saying some bullshit, but I go by the name of Rip16, the GOAT.
I am Tyler Jet.
And we are the Mighty No Hedging Podcast duo. Before we pop it off, before we get into all these wonderful things we gotta say, gotta send out a congratulations. You won fantasy. You won your fantasy.
Appreciate it, man.
You won number one. 6.5 point spread on that game. Very close fought battle, but you earned the dub.
Appreciate you, my boy.
You won the money.
It was a great season.
Hey, it was my second season doing fantasy ever in life. And I came in second. So I'm not disappointed. But I'll be back.
Didn't I come in second last year? I think I did. No. I was in third or fourth.
You was nowhere near second.
I didn't hit the play. I didn't hit the finals.
I don't even know.
I thought I hit the semis or something.
You might have made the semi, but you damn sure won second.
Okay. I was in the semis though. I wasn't in the
semis.
Yeah,
you might have been in third, fourth.
Third or fourth,
yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But anyway, as we like to start the show off, man, we like to start the show off with a little thing I like to call GOATtalk. Can I get a Stone Cold Steve Austin what?
What?
Can I get another Stone Cold Steve Austin what?
What?
Thank you. Listen, man, it's going to be some roller coasters. It's going to be some ups and downs, but, you know, just like January 1st, we got a new beginning.
We do.
That's a bye. The playoffs are here. So, I mean, the cream of the crop has risen to the top.
Mm-hmm.
What? So that means
the best of the best has left to rest.
So you ain't gotta worry about all these fugazi teams dancing in the background, just fucking up the church's money. You ain't gotta worry about that. You got some real hitters out here. What? You got some real go-getters out here. What? You gotta pick your best of your best. What? From the east to the west. What? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we gotta win some monies, man. You know what I'm saying? Just play imaginary players in the background. Get that money flowing through your head. Say some positive affirmations as you count up and run it up. Listen to some Juvenile. He said some money talk in there somewhere. And with that being said, like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you get these dubs.
Do that.
We gonna get some dubs. We like to win some monies around here.
What's L?
And we like for y'all to win it with us. So, yeah, anything else you want to tell these people before we dive in?
Let's get to it.
All right, man. We like to start the show off with a classic, legendary segment we like to call Takeaways.
What do you got? All right, takeaways from the final week. I'm going to start with the last game of the season. The Vikings.
That was a hell of a last game.
And the Lions. Divisional game. A lot at stake for this game. The Lions were obviously in the number 1 seed. Vikings in the number 5 seed. Winner of that game goes to the number 1 seed.
And get a first round bye.
Very beneficial for the Lions because they haven't had a bye week since September, October.
Yeah.
So, and the way that they've been playing, dominating people, running up the score, leading the league in scoring, offense, all these different things. The injuries starting to rack up on them on the defensive side.
They got Anzalone back.
So this bye week is very important for them.
No, for sure.
But you know, it was a good game in the beginning of the game. Neither team seemed to get away with the game or take the game away, take control of the game. But the main thing was Detroit's defense pretty much had Sammy Darnold looking at seeing ghosts once again.
Well, he was overthrowing a little bit, and Anzalone, I think Anzalone being back from injury, from the broken arm, made a difference out there. I think he generated some more pressure. Did pretty good on the run defense. Aaron Jones was okay, but he didn't have an outstanding day or anything on the ground. And with Sam Darnold kind of being rushed and overthrowing the passes just slightly. Because there was a couple catches where it was like he was trying to hit Justin Jefferson, but it was just slightly overthrown. So
he was missing a lot of receivers. He missed Justin Jefferson's in the end zone. He missed Hockenson down the seam. He didn't throw the ball to Jordan Addison in the end zone. Naylor was coming across in a slant in the red zone. There's just a lot of red zone errors where they couldn't convert.
Faux pas.
They couldn't convert in the red zone. They were inside the 10, inside the 5, numerous times. They just could not convert into touchdowns.
Right.
The first few times they were, going for it on fourth down. And that's obviously, what the Lions do. So, they know that the Lions are one of those teams that can score, so they want to try to score as well and go for it on fourth down, but it just didn't work. And on third down, they were not good on third down either. So it was just like offensively, they weren't who they normally are. I felt like the Lions had a good game plan installed for them, and they executed a little bit more than the Vikings. But yeah, it was a good matchup. I think if they play again, the Vikings win.
You think so?
I think so. I think so, because it was just little misses here. If Sam Darnold hits these throws by 1 yard or whatever the case may be, the game is completely shifted. And it's not like Jared Goff played his best either. You know what I'm saying? He threw 2 picks.
Well, the Vikings defense has been consistently good.
Yeah, getting turnovers.
And generates a lot of turnovers, a lot of pressure. To me, they're very good on both sides of the football, which makes them a dangerous team. Like, for them to be a number 5 seed in playoffs and they're 14-3 is kind of like some unheard of shit. But I think they're a lot better than the score indicated on that game in terms of matchup wise against the Lions. But I do give credit to the Lions for being able to capitalize on that and be able to get their scores, move the ball, consistently get their stars involved. And they did that without David Montgomery too. So we can't.
Hell, they didn't need him. Jameer Gibbs had 4 touchdowns.
He had 3.
No, he had 4.
Or 3 rushing. He had 1 passing. Okay,
receiving. Yeah, he had 4 touchdowns. He went crazy. They didn't need him.
So
but Monty should be coming back in the playoffs.
But that's what I was about to say. Also, they're potentially, depending on how deep their playoff run is, they could possibly get Monty back, and they could possibly get Aiden.
Yeah.
So if they get Aiden Hutchinson and David Montgomery back close to the Super Bowl, if they progress that deep,
well, their issue is going to be their corners, man. Their starting corners are out. Carlton Davis is out, and Terrion Arnold just got injured. It looks like it's a significant injury that he might miss some time. So
that was big.
That's going to be their weak point on that defense, is their secondary for sure, because we already know on the front 7, they've brought in Zadarius Smith, he's had an impact on the team, making his presence felt. And then, like you said, Anzalone comes back. So they've been playing a lot better up front. But now your secondary is banged up, which is why it was impressive on how they were able to pretty much tame the Minnesota Vikings offense and those receivers.
And a lot of people don't have as good of a passing attack as the Minnesota Vikings. So that's why I'm not OD concerned about it at the same time, just because of the simple fact that if you can still manage to put that together against the Minnesota Vikings, then you should be able to handle a lot of the other teams. And we're going to get into that a little bit later on in this episode, who they got to play and who might be a potential matchup for them when we dive into this playoff picture a little bit deeper. But yeah. Another thing I wanted to address, you kind of dove into the games, but it was something else that I want to kind of backtrack. In a little thing we call chat.
Hey, chat.
The chat was talking.
What they saying?
You know me. I like to talk my shit, crack my jokes.
What they saying?
It's some Bengals fans was hurt. There's some Bengals fans was a little hurt. Who they was hurt. Who they injured. Listen, I clocked him out a long time ago. Yeah. Long time ago. But they were impressive towards the tail end of the season. You know, you got a 5,000-yard passing quarterback. You got a triple crown wide receiver. You got the league leader in sacks on defense. Yeah, that all of those things scream playoff team usually. But unfortunately, they dug themselves such a deep hole at the beginning of the season that you just could not fucking get up out of it.
Yeah, they needed 3 more weeks.
Shit, the Vikings are 14-3 and they're number 5. So I mean, that should go to tell you that it's some tight divisions and some tight teams around here. You know what I'm saying? Because there was some teams playing up until the end. Hell, the Chargers are 11-6 and they are number 5 in the West. So, it was just too much to overcome. But you know, it seems like a lot of people don't want the Chiefs to win, of course.
Right.
But
they've turned into the Chiefs have become the Patriots. You know, everybody don't like the Patriots. Everybody don't like the win. At first, it was everybody loved the Chiefs. Now it's everybody hate the Chiefs because they winning so much. It's the recency bias.
Their love gonna come with hate.
It's what they call it. It's the they don't. It's something where a lot of people, you keep winning, they just get tired of seeing you.
So I mean, you know, that in itself is, you know, just what comes with the territory of winning, I guess, when you're the Chiefs. But as far as the Bengals, and what I wanted to ask you was like, what do you feel like is going to separate the Bengals from being able to have a better season to start off next year? Because T. Higgins is coming up to free agency, and by all indicators, it looks like he's going to be going out of town.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
So
because if it wasn't for T, they wouldn't have won that game in overtime the week prior. But yeah, they need T. Higgins, man, because Jamar, he's not going to be able to do it alone. I'm not saying that he's not talented enough to do open, so, but when you got 2 receivers on both sides of the field, you can't double a single receiver. You got to play both receivers, right? So if T. Higgins is gone, unless they have another emerging receiver, then Jamar Chase is going to be more double teams, double coverage. You know what I mean? So that on top of, I don't know if it's the defensive players or the scheme or whatever, but they need to work on that defense. I don't know if they need to get the
defense was shit, and that was the problem at the beginning of the season.
Or the scheme just wasn't good.
They started getting it together on the latter half of the season, latter portion of the season, I should say. But the defense was shit for a large portion of the season, and that's how they got in that hole. I mean, you lost a game to the Patriots. Because come on.
Well, it's week 1. You know, yeah, it was the Patriots, but we don't know what the Patriots are going to do week 1. I mean, obviously, the expectation was they weren't going to be good. But week one, anything goes. You know, you can kind of
week 1 is a random week.
Yeah, you can put an asterisk on week.
Yeah, but they lost some other games too. They should not have lost.
The games that they lose, where the defense gave up 38 points. You know what I'm saying, and they only scored 35.
If your team is consistently dropping 30 points, you should be winning games.
Yeah, and
if you're not, that means that your defense is shit.
Yeah, it is what it is.
And I mean, and it's really that simple. The defense was shit early on. Later on, they start playing a lot better. They start getting a lot more pressure on the ball. Cam Taylor-Britt, he still had a fuck ton of penalties, but he started making some plays too. He kind of had a Brett Favre syndrome going on there for a minute, where he would get an interception, but he also get you a pass interference. It was like, damn, bro. It's like,
yeah, but the problem really is Bengals ownership, man. They really cheap. They still hasn't paid Jamar Chase yet. They're not really going to pay T. Higgins. They didn't want to pay Jesse Bates, sent him out of town to Atlanta. It's just they don't want to spend the money.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, Joe Burrow got the bread, which was obviously a no-brainer, but the other players around him, Joe Mixon, they sent him out of town. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just players that they just let go because they don't want to pay. You know, historically, they just been cheap, and that's going to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, you can't have a grade A top tier quarterback and not give him anything other. You got one weapon to work with. You still got to spend some money on defense. You still got to spend some money on, you know, another wide receiver. You got to have a run game. Chase Brown was good for them this season. But ultimately, I think the Bengals gonna have to make a shift so that they not in the same boat turn around next season. Because honestly, it's not much to stop them from being in the exact same damn position if they don't make some personnel changes or make some defensive scheme changes or something. So I was just wondering what your thoughts were on that. But speaking of that, and speaking of pretenders and contenders and whatnot, we got another segment. We got another segment around here. It's a little segment we like to call Besides the Chiefs.
Kansas City take us to kickoff.
So yeah, we knew, even though the Chiefs didn't even fucking try in Week 18, we knew that the Chiefs were going to be the number 1 seed a long time ago. They kept squeaking by with all these W's, kept on getting all these wins, so they got a first round bye. But besides the Chiefs in this playoff picture, who is inside of these playoffs? Just specifically playoff teams is a real legitimate contender for the Chiefs or pretender that's just here because they made it?
Big trust.
These are big trust.
I think the Ravens are the team that has the best chance at beating the Chiefs.
I mean, we've been saying that for like 3 years.
This year's Ravens, if they continue to do what they've been doing all season, which is running the freaking ball with Derrick Henry and allowing Lamar to throw the ball when he needs to throw the ball instead of him sitting back there just trying to throw it every down like they did last season.
It feels like he's been passing a lot, though.
Yeah, he's been passing a lot. This is the best season. I think this is the best season of Lamar Jackson's career ever. Like, especially throwing the football. He's been throwing the ball. Like, his growth at throwing the ball has been crazy. And I think that's a nod to Todd Monken. He's been there for a couple of years now. He knows the system. He's familiar with it. But now it's just all about them committing to the run game against the Chiefs. I think if they can commit to the run game like they have been throughout the whole season, now that they have Derrick Henry, which says, hey, we got Derrick Henry, we commit to the run game, we can control the clock, we can keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, and we can make things happen with Lamar Jackson when we need to. Lamar Jackson magic, right?
Yeah.
So I think the Ravens would be the contender, the number 1 contender to the Chiefs, in my opinion.
I mean, I can see
that.
that.
I have Zay Flowers is hurt. That's an issue.
Yeah.
So that can be a problem. But even still, I think they still have the pieces to make it work.
You still got Andrews, likely. Aguilar has stepped up. Bateman has stepped up huge. So, I mean, he still got targets. And, again, you have Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's kind of scary, though, is I hope, if they do so happen to find themselves matched up with the Chiefs again, I hope that there's not another identity crisis of them.
That was the problem.
Your run team run the ball. And I think when they got against the Chiefs last season, when they saw them in the playoffs, they wanted to be a pass team, and Lamar was not looking comfortable. Of course, this year, Lamar looks a lot more comfortable passing the ball than he has in previous years, which I think bodes well for them. However, it's just like, don't forget your identity of, like, what really got you here. You know what I'm saying? And that's their identity as a team, and that's their style of play. And I think if you can make the other team have to adjust and deal with your style of play versus you trying to adjust and play the other team's style of play, then I think they'll be a lot better because they play a lot more free and open when it's like that. And the other thing is, don't be scared to run. Like, for years, people have been saying, "Oh, Lamar Jackson got to sit back and pass. He got to become a better passer." And I think he kind of heard that, and he has become a much better passer. However, it's kind of weird now because people like, why isn't Lamar Jackson running? I'm like, don't forget that you can still run. And I think he has to find the sweet spot and balance of that to play a phenomenal game to be able to dethrone the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's gonna be their toughest challenge. But I think on the pretender side of the football, I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers, man.
Ooh, what about them?
They got their first round. They got this wild card weekend. They got to play the Ravens. I don't like it.
Not looking good.
I don't like it. especially after losing all those games at the tail end of the season. You on a down slump going into the playoffs. That's not good.
They're trending down.
You lost to the Bengals in Week 18. You lost to the Ravens the week before that.
And it wasn't good losses. It wasn't like it was like
y'all didn't even look good.
Yeah,
like,
they didn't even look good losing. Yeah,
it just looked like you supposed to lose.
yeah.
You look like you were supposed to lose.
So it looks like another season with Mike Tomlin in the playoffs and kicked out first round.
Does that go bad against Tomlin?
I think so.
Moving forward,
I think so. I mean, you can just getting to the playoffs is not the prize. You got to win these games, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think when you're dealing with an organization like the Steelers, the expectation is championships.
It's championship.
So
it's not just getting to the playoffs just to say, oh, I go to the playoffs every single year. Yeah, that's cool, but I mean, that don't even look good.
It's funny because he's not a bad coach.
No, he's not.
He's actually one of the greater coaches in the league. So I mean, I think that's the challenging part of
he's been a coach
the assessment.
For the longest out of anybody in the league right now.
Yeah, he's the longest tenured coach for sure. And I don't know if it gets to a point now where it's like, okay, do you switch it up,
right,
to get a new energy in there? And of course, that means they're probably going to go on a down slump.
Yep.
So you have to be prepared and not make the damn playoffs.
Depending on who they bring in, but.
Are you
willing
willing
to
to
better than Tomlin? That's the question.
Are you willing to have the staying power and actually sit there and actually try to make a legitimate playoff run, or give that person some time to actually build and become cohesive in the scheme and the plan with the team and the personnel and everything? Are you going to take the time to do that, or are you going to try to give Tomlin more weapons so that he becomes better equipped to make a deeper playoff run?
Yeah,
I don't know, and that's hard when you play in a division with Lamar Jackson.
Well, the problem was
Joe Burrow.
The problem is, it's just a little confusing. You start off with Justin Fields, you think Justin Fields is the guy, then you don't say Justin Fields is the guy. So then when Russ gets healthy,
they never said Justin Fields was the guy. They said Russ was hurt.
Yeah, but Justin Fields had a good run. Russ was hurt. Then Russ comes in, he plays well, but now Russ is not playing as well. And now it's like, okay, what do we do? So it's just like they're up in limbo right now.
Yeah. So and for that particular reason, I think they're pretenders in terms of this playoff run. I just don't see them doing much in the playoffs, to be honest.
Nah.
Like, it would have to be something go terribly bad for the Ravens in order for them to beat the Ravens.
Yeah, and I don't see it. Yeah, they're not beating the Ravens.
I don't think so.
Nah.
Anybody else you got on your Contenders Pretenders list?
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, big problem.
This was pretty much the NFL Invitational for the Houston Texans.
The Invitational.
Yeah, that division was just so bad.
Yeah.
You know,
you're the best of the worst.
You're the best of the worst. You know, Jacksonville, okay, ass. The Colts,
ass.
The Titans,
super ass.
Yeah, so Houston, you got the best quarterback in the division. Here's an invite. We're glad to have you. Just for shits and giggles, but the offense is not good enough. They got a lot of injuries. We talked about it all year. That interior offensive line is a problem. You're going up against who they're playing?
The Chargers.
They're going up against the Chargers.
Who have
Jim
the
Harbaugh,
defense
who
has
been playing a great, the best defense all season.
The defense has the lowest points scored against them in the league.
Yeah, good luck.
Points per game. So. Good fucking luck.
Good luck. That defense has been playing phenomenal. They've been committing turnovers. Offensively, Justin Herbert has been playing very well. Ladd McConkey has been, developed into a pretty solid
damn
receiver.
Good lad.
Yeah, pretty damn good lad. And offensively, they run the football. They physical. It's going to be.
And they got J.K. Dobbins back.
Yeah, the battle. I mean, the only chance that Houston has is their defense. I think the defense is talented. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
They got a nice secondary, and they got a good pass rush with Will.
It'll be interesting to see what that defense looks like against the Harbaugh offense, but it's just going to be a physical game, and I don't think Houston is going to be prepared for that. I think this year we just write them off as hey. Proper
alert, C.J. Stroud interception. If they got that, I can definitely see him throwing a good interception in this game.
What about sacks? How about that? He gets sacked a lot.
He does get
2-3
sacked.
sacks.
He does get sacked.
When you got Derwin James blitzing off the edge, it's a problem.
Yeah, big problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's gonna get the sack. I don't know if that's a Bosa, a Mac, DJ, or all three.
That's not a good.
That's not good.
That's not a good front for that Houston offensive line. To
No,
the block
it's a terrible one.
Yeah.
So I don't like it. It's a good thing it's a home game for them, so they don't have to travel far after the game is over.
Yeah.
Just go home.
Take an Uber.
Yeah, they can take an Uber back to the crib after this one.
But Houston,
Houston.
I like Houston. I really do. It's just this season, just not the year. The injury bug hit them up. They weren't.
Yeah, they got hit
consistent offensively with the lineup with the receivers, and then,
no
like
Diggs,
I said,
no
line,
Dell.
Joe Mixon missed a few games. Like it just wasn't consistent. Yeah, and CJ just back there. I'm fighting for my life.
Y'all killing me with this. Speaking of people fighting for their life, we got another wonderful segment around here. It's a little segment. It's a fan favorite, probably my favorite segment all year. It's a segment that we like to call "Clock Out for Me, Big Dog."
Yeah, you can go ahead and
Shift is
clock out.
over.
Right now?
Your shift is over.
Okay.
So it's been some people that's been clocked out. And I want to speak on it. I want to speak on the coach firings.
Okay.
That got clocked out. It's some coaches that got
a
clocked.
couple.
It's a couple of them I really did not like, to be honest. One of those being Antonio Pierce. I don't like it. You put him in there.
Let's lump him in with Gerard Mayo.
Gerard Mayo, okay.
And Antonio Pierce, because we're going to talk about the real problem.
What's the real problem?
The
organization?
The owners are not giving black head coaches enough time.
They're not. They're not. You can't give somebody a shit team and expect them to turn around in one season with a rookie quarterback or no quarterback
and a shitty
roster with no personnel. Like, what the hell is he supposed to do? Like, Antonio Pierce is in the same division with the damn Chiefs and the Chargers. I just sat here and said the Chiefs allowed the fewest points per game. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Chargers allowed the fewest points per game, and the Chiefs went fucking 15-2.
Well, 3 of their teams in the division,
and that's because they didn't even play one of the games. They got 3 teams in the damn playoffs. Mm-hmm. You can't. What is he supposed to do with that? That's not fair to fire him for that. That was really some bullshit. I didn't like it.
Yeah, you got to give these guys an opportunity with at least a quarterback to start with and a decent roster that they can build upon. Not one season is going to do that.
Or at least some legitimate time to fix it or to do something. But you can't do that in one season.
I think 3 years max should be enough time for a team.
Three years is a good time. I think 3 years is a legitimate time frame for them to do something, because that's what the Lions did with Dan Campbell. Mm-hmm. And I felt like over the course of the past 3 years, we saw progression. Mm-hmm. Like the Lions not too long ago were the team that was very competitive and losing by less than a touchdown.
They were 0-16 before Dan Campbell got there.
Right. And then when he came in, they were highly competitive.
7-9 or something like that.
But you remember they had a season about 2 or 3 seasons ago where they were losing a lot of games by less than a touchdown. They were highly competitive. They just weren't winning those games. They weren't closing it. And he built that team from the line. Then he worked out, and they started trying to improve the secondary this season. And as you can see now, they're what? A 15-win team. So, I mean, to me, it takes time to build that type of roster to become better, and I just don't feel like you can't expect Antonio Pierce, especially, and it seems to just be happening with the black head coaches. I mean, if I'm just being completely honest.
Yeah, look at the Giants.
Dayball
They gave him another chance.
Dayball getting another chance.
They gave him one more chance. This is the year 4 under this regime. First year, okay, you go to the playoffs, you get coach of the year, you get a playoff win, and now, what we doing?
Right.
It's a fucking dumpster fire. Yeah. And they got another year. So, it's not right, but it is.
There's some other coaches you could have. But
a lot of coaches could have got whacked. Yeah. What about the Tennessee Titan coach? They didn't do well. But he got another shot at it.
Ass.
It was his first season. They're picking the top 5. So that's, I mean, compare and contrast. What's the difference?
I don't get it. I don't know who they pissed off in that organization to get fired, but to me, it felt like bullshit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But that's the bottom line about these coach firings. I don't think AP. I think I'm on the fence with AP a little bit. I do understand he didn't have enough time and all of that. I'm on the fence a little bit.
People was mad about AP for winning games more than him losing games, to be honest.
Gerard Mayo, that was the only reason why I think they cut Gerard Mayo, because they already probably got Vrabel ready to go behind the scenes.
You think they got Vrabel ready to go?
Bro, they clipped that man 30 minutes after the game.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
He didn't even make it to his car.
Yeah, Robert Kraft, like, he took a shower, went... Yes, what? Like, nah, bro. Like, car. Straight up, I think they already got Vrabel behind the table. They working some deals.
Do you think that's like a sign of some of these teams trying to get like a shot at Ben Johnson? Or I heard some Spagnola. I heard Spags is getting some calls about head coaching positions. I don't know if that's the reason. You know, if they thinking, okay, we got to clip this guy so we can have a shot and start trying to interview and getting that Ben Johnson, Spagnola, some of these other standout defensive coordinators or offensive coordinator from this season. I don't know if that's the reason and rationale behind that, but I don't.
They don't know either.
They don't fucking know. It just feels like they don't fucking know.
Nah, they don't know either. They just doing shit.
Yeah.
They just doing shit.
They just woke up and just started doing shit. This shit crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, with all that being said, man, let's go ahead and dive into the wild card weekend of the NFL season. Wild card on Prime.
Wild card.
Yep. Wild card on Prime this year. Mm-hmm. Know how much you love a good Prime game.
Shout out to Prime. I love me some TNF.
So you getting the wild card weekend on Prime. So let's dive into that, man. I feel like all of these games are must see TV, so I'm not gonna go must see TV with it. I feel like we should just go ahead and just talk about all these games, you know what I'm saying? Give these folks, man, your best bets, man. What are your best bets?
All right, wild card weekend. Best bets. We got some good matchups.
Yes, we
got
do.
some bad matchups.
Yes, we do.
But I think there's some good bets on the board.
Yeah.
Can be taken advantage of. So my first bet is going to be Washington and Tampa Bay game. I like Washington on the plus side.
This is probably the most competitive game.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be very competitive, very interesting.
It's very evenly matched.
You have two quarterbacks that will do anything to get
the first down,
to put their teams in position to win.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield has been playing phenomenal. Ever since he came to Tampa, man, he just turned into a different quarterback.
He did.
He uses his legs more frequently when it needs to. A play breaks down, he's scrambling around looking for somebody. He's been throwing the ball very well. That pass that he threw to McMillan last week was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Also, Jaden Daniels, same way. Overtime versus Atlanta, he's using his legs, scrambling. Scary Terry McLaurin didn't have a great day. But what happened? Jaden Daniels, he said, you know what? I'm going to put the team on my back, and I'm going to make some shit happen, and we're going to get this dub. And sure enough, that's what happened. So I think you got two quarterbacks that are do anything and everything mandatory, necessary to put their teams in position to win. So I think this is going to be a good matchup. The only issue and concern that I have is Tampa Bay's defense, because it hasn't been playing very well, because they had injuries on the back end, Antoine Winfield Jr., things of that nature. And I do think if Tampa Bay doesn't win this game, I think Todd Bowles is on the hot seat, and he might get clipped. So, because I think he was they were probably trying to clip him a couple years last season, but they made it to the playoffs. But this one, and they got a playoff win. Now, if they don't get a playoff win this year, he might be a problem, because their weak point is their defense, and he's in control of the defense. So, that's a little nugget to pay attention to.
Okay. What else you got?
So, Washington +3. Next one, Philadelphia. I'm going to tell you now. Woo! Jalen Hurts, We're still waiting to hear
Jalen
back
is
if
good.
He's clear concussion protocol.
He was probably good last week. They just didn't play him.
Okay, they doing all the bullshit. Okay.
They was just resting.
Yeah. Okay, well, he had...
Obviously, they didn't let Saquon go for Eric Dickerson's record. They was resting. He was fine.
He hasn't cleared concussion protocol, but this is when he would clear it in the regular season.
He was good to go last week, brother.
But I'm taking the I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles to beat Green Bay. Philadelphia's at home. Green Bay has not been playing well.
No,
they have not been playing well. They lost to Chicago last week. Don't understand.
Green Bay has not been that good against good teams.
Yeah, they haven't been good against good teams. Now they're on the road in Philadelphia, hostile environment. Jordan Love got a little banged up too, so that might be a little cause for.
But Jordan Love hasn't been going crazy with the passing. The offense has really been Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, Christian Watson gone. They big play threat down the field. They still got other receivers and weapons that they use, but
is he a big play threat?
Yeah, his pass down the field, 30 yards down the field. That's Christian Watson. But like you said, Josh Jacobs, the offense runs through him. So if they're not able to run the football, then they don't have a shot. And the way that Philadelphia's been playing defense, all them Georgia Bulldogs on their defense,
go Dogs.
They've been hunting, and they're not gonna allow it.
No,
not this week. So give me
I like
Philadelphia Eagles -4.5.
I like that play a lot.
Yeah, and then my last one. Don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take Pittsburgh +9.5 against Baltimore.
Why?
Playoff game. The last couple meetings, Pittsburgh been getting cooked by the Ravens. I'm not gonna.
You got on Lamar Jackson jersey, and you're gonna sit here and tell me
the Ravens gonna win.
You got a Lamar Jackson 8 jersey. Yeah, and you picked.
The Ravens are gonna win for sure, but I don't think they'll cover the spread. It's still a divisional game, bro. This is the third time they done matched up all year.
So let me ask you this: what did they do to them when they just played them like 2 weeks ago?
They beat the brakes off of them.
So what gives you an indication that it's going to be any different this time?
Because that's usually how this shit go. That's parody.
You think it's just an NFL parody thing going on?
And it's a divisional game, bro. Like, you get me, I get you. You get me, I get you. You blow me out, I'm not going to blow you out. Type shit, you know what I'm saying? I just don't think they're gonna.
I think you're trying to go 2-1 right now.
We'll see. But those are my best bets, man. Washington, Philly, and Pittsburgh.
Okay.
What you got?
Okay. Hey man, bolt up, man. My Los Angeles Chargers. Anybody that knows me knows that LA is like my second favorite city behind Atlanta. It's a beautiful town. Shout out to the LA Chargers, man. Mm-hmm. I got the Chargers -3 versus the Houston Texans. We just talked about this.
That's an easy play. That's the best bet on the board.
It's probably one of the best bets on the board because the Houston Texans are not
best bet on the board.
The Houston Texans are just not in a position to be winning right now. They're banged up. They hurt. CJ Stroud's getting sacked too many times. Mm-hmm. The defense is putting up the fewest points per game. It's just a lot of things going against Houston. The only thing going in Houston's favor is they're at home in this game, and I mean, I don't think Joe Mixon's gonna be able to get off like that and have a crazy day against that defense. So that means that Nico Collins will have to leave Earth, and CJ Stroud will have to revert back to his rookie season form. And I don't know if this is the team to do it against. So I'm gonna take the Chargers -3 in this game. Next play on the board I like. I'm going to go ahead and take the Minnesota Vikings -1 against the Rams. This game is a pick'em. The Rams are competitive. The Rams did have a little bit of rest. They was able to chill out their starters a little bit. Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp sometimes.
Heavy on the sometimes.
Heavy on the sometimes. All those guys are impact players, and they can come in, and they have Matthew Stafford, who's a great game manager, to be able to come in and distribute the football very well. So I understand why this game is a pick'em to an extent, and they have McVay, who's a great coach. However, I just feel like the Minnesota Vikings, coming off of that loss against the Detroit Lions, kind of getting embarrassed a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't see them losing this game. And I just feel like when they come off of a loss, they have played so much better. They've only lost a few times this season. But when they have lost, they generally come back very strong. And it just feels like it's a bad spot for the Rams to have to play this team because I feel like they have a better shot had they not been coming off of a loss.
Yeah.
But to me, I understand why it's a pick 'em respectfully, but I think the Vikings are the better team overall because of the defense. You got Justin Jefferson, Addison, Aaron Jones, and Sam Darnold has been sort of like Baker Mayfield rejuvenated with the Vikings. So to me, I just feel like this is a good spot for the Vikings. I'm gonna take them -1 in a tough game though. The Rams are no slouch.
Yeah, the Rams played the Vikings in Week 7 and won 30-20.
Yeah, that was Week 7 though.
Yeah, Week 7. So, and these two coaches, they come from the same tree. They know each other very, very well. So, yeah, I can see that.
Last one I'm gonna take Buffalo Bills -8.5. Now this one, generally, I don't love a high point spread. I do not. However, the Buffalo Bills are facing the Denver Broncos. And Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos have played pretty well. They've been pretty good defensively with Surtain and some of those other guys. Mims been making some plays. Bo Nix has been making some very good passes. Cortland Sutton has been stepping up in certain spots. Vele, they've had some impact players come up and show up for some games.
Defense been playing very well.
Defense has been very well, but the problem with the Denver Broncos is
Benito.
They are not good against teams that are playoff teams or over 500 teams. Mm-hmm. They beat the shit out of other teams, but when it comes to over 500 teams, they're 2-6. And one of those 2 games was the Chiefs, who didn't even fucking try in Week 18, and they played the bench. So they lost to the Chargers that game. At the time, the Chargers were 1-5 against over 500 teams, and the Broncos were 1-5 against over 500 teams. So they both had a problem, but the Chargers were better than them defensively. And to me, that's not a good sign going against Josh Allen. I don't like it. I don't see Josh Allen getting a first round exit to the Broncos. 8.5 is a good amount of points, and the defense has been good. But I just feel like the Bills at home, they're gonna come in there fired up.
Yeah, it's a hostile environment. Bo Nix is still a rookie. I don't care how
he's a rookie.
He's been playing. This is his first playoff game on the road.
And you want him to beat Josh Allen?
And Josh Allen in Buffalo. Yeah,
possibly MVP Josh Allen.
Yeah, good luck.
Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are like neck and neck for MVP. It's kind of like a preference type situation when it comes to that. But I don't like it. I don't like it. Not around here, player. Give me the Chargers -3, Minnesota -1, and the Buffalo Bills -8.5. It's a lot of points, but they might win by a good 10 piece.
Yeah, for sure.
They might.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So out of all those games, the folks still gotta know, who is your dog of the week?
Yeah, I think the best dog on the board is gonna be the Washington Commanders.
It's the only dog on the fucking board.
I ain't got the Rams, but
that's not a real dog. It's a pick'em.
I get it, but yeah. But I think I think the Washington Commanders might be the only option that upsetting a favorite opponent this weekend.
Yes.
I kind of went into it. We talked about it a little bit, but, Washington, I think they're a competitive team. Granted, the same thing applies to Jaden Daniels that applies to Bo Nix. This is his first time in the playoffs, road game, all these different things.
Baker played.
Bo Nix. I'm saying it's the same thing that applies to Jaden Daniels with Bo Nix. Jaden Daniels, rookie, on the road, first playoff game, etc. But I do think Jaden Daniels...
he seems very poised.
Very poised. He doesn't get rattled, and and that's what I like about Jaden Daniels. So I think it's going to be a competitive game, and I think this is going to be the dog of the week.
I agree. In fact, I agree so much. That's my dog too. I'm not picking them other guys. That's a setup for failure.
Right.
The Rams are probably your best shot, but I honestly believe in the Vikings more than I believe in the Rams right now. To me, I see the Commanders having the best possibility of winning that game, just because the Buccaneers have won some games against some good opponents, or they've been highly competitive against some good opponents.
They beat good teams.
They've beat some good teams. However, in a playoff matchup, you need everybody to be cohesive on both sides of the football. You can't be out here having close battles with the Saints. You gotta come out here and you gotta dominate the other team in order to really. You gotta play a dominant brand of football. And the only thing about the Buccaneers is they'll find a way to win, which is why I think they are good. But when you put them against another good team, they are very prone to lose that damn game.
For sure.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say, yes, I do like what Baker Mayfield's been doing. I do find it impressive. I do think they play well. However, out of all the matchups, this is probably the most evenly matched, and they probably have just as good a chance of losing it as they have at winning. Yeah. So versus the other squads, I see it a little bit more one-sided. So for me, the Commanders is probably the best dog of the week for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, make sure y'all like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Please don't.
That's the most important thing.
Please don't. I need that. But yeah, man, we got more playoff runs coming up. We got more basketball intensity coming up soon. As soon as this football season done, we got basketball too. So we're not done gambling. But yeah, man. So make sure y'all like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what y'all thinking. Let us know your picks. Let us know them parlays, because if you got a good parlay, I might be down to plug it. Drop it in the comments. Y'all keep talking in the chat. We're gonna keep talking back. Anything else you want to tell the people?
You know how we get out.
How's that?
Parlays.
Making money line plays. May all these bets continue to pay. I'm probably going to parlay all these into a teaser, which will be a pleaser.
That's right. A pocket pleaser.
A pocket pleaser.
Wallet pleaser.
Peace.
We out. A wallet pleaser.